So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be painting this pretty cottage doorway using just 4 colours. There's Winsor lemon, Quinacridone magenta, manganese blue hue and lamp black, and these are all Winsor and Newton colours, professional range. So first of all, I'm looking for the lightest section of the painting, and the lightest section is going to be all of this stonework that's here, and that's what I'm going to paint first of all. Very, very pale stonework colour, and that's basically going to be an orange that has been knocked down to a grubbier orange with a little bit of the complement of orange, which is blue. So first of all, I'm going to make some orange. So orange is yellow and magenta. Just mixing that here. And I'm looking at these kind of colours here where I want to make them bluer, cooler than the mix I've got. So I'm just going to put a little bit of blue in. Not too much, otherwise it goes green. I don't want that. If you find that it does go green, just pop a little bit more pink in it. That looks quite dark, but once we water that out, then it will go quite light. And I'm going to keep everything quite loose and wishy-washy. Pop this in first, just very, very loose brush strokes. Too pink, so a bit of yellow in that. That's it, so it's going brown. And I'm painting pretty much everything apart from the door. I can afford to go a little bit darker on the right hand side. Because it is darker, so it's also kind of quite saturated as well, so we can get away with going quite punchy with our colours there. Again, I'm just avoiding that door because I want that to be quite a saturated and pure green. Now, if you notice that any of the brickwork can have a few little dapples in it, just drop some other little colours into it before it's had a chance to dry. If you notice any darker sections, drop them in as well. So here I'm just popping in some more orangey colours, yellow in there. Get a little bit more orangey. That's it. Keeping everything quite fast, quite loose, not too exact. You'll notice it kind of goes a bit grayer down here, so I'm just going to I'm just going to drop a little bit of blue into that, just to make it a sandier colour as we come down to these steps. And I've also noticed some little bits of orange just in amongst this foliage. I'll drop some of that in as well. Again, I'm not looking at precision, we're just blocking in the main shapes. In fact, I can see some up here as well. a bits of very dark orange actually between these panes, or in these panes, but I'll end up going darker on that in a bit. Just got this section here. Okay. Okay. And just have a look at what's happening in your piece. You might decide that you want to darken areas, that you want to grey some of the areas up. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue into an orange mix to make some greyer oranges. Just careful that it doesn't go green. So there we are, I've got some quite nice colours there, and I'm just going to drop them in. These shapes here. Might just want to put a few little splatters to recreate the stonework. Just for visual interest, really. I would let that kind of all settle down and start mixing up some greens ready for your foliage. So for green, we're going to mix yellow and blue. That will give us quite a bright green, but quite an unnatural green, which we're going to calm that down with a little bit of pink. That will create us a more olivey green. This is the lightest of the greens that I'm putting on initially. Okay, so I can see some little green bits here. It's a bit yellow, so I've just dropped a little bit of blue in it. Just using the tip of my brush. All I'm doing is just looking at the bigger shapes, not going for accuracy. So now I'm going to go a lot darker in a bit. I'll put some green on the other side, and just using the tip of my brush. Doesn't matter if it blurs into the orange. I'm just crisscrossing over. I want it to bleed a little bit into that orange, so it's creating some nice soft edges, not anything too harsh. I'm just chopping and changing my greens, just for the same colours, just yellow, blue, and every now and then a bit of pink. I'm going to go a lot darker in a minute, so this is just my first coat. I'm not too worried about it. This is starting to settle down now, so we can start to get a little bit darker with some of our greens, so a bit of blue, a bit of yellow, tiny bit of black. We'll also desaturate it. See that really gorgeous colour it's making? So you can start dropping this into some of those pockets of white. A little bit more. This is quite a bit thicker, this consistency I'm mixing now. Don't want it to spread a lot, that's why. It goes really dark towards the bottom here. Make it a bit greener. So really I've got one eye on the painting and one on the picture. This is a really nice, easy way of creating foliage, and it's a lot of fun as well. You can't really second guess exactly how it's going to turn out. Drop out onto this side now. Going a little bit thicker, otherwise it spreads too much. I'm squinting now, you can't see me, but I'm squinting just to see some of these bigger shapes, some of these darks. A little bit of orange in there, I think. And the orange is just yellow and magenta. A little bit of black in it, becomes brown. Drop them in. It's beginning to look a bit more 3D now, that foliage, because we've got the depth to it. So really that's going to need to settle down a little bit, and then we can start addressing these areas. So I'm going to clean my palette up and sort out the door. So for the door I'm using a mixture of the magnesium blue hue and a yellow, because it's a kind of a green colour. It's bluer than that, so I'll stick more blue in. And it's more desaturated than that, so I'm going to pop a tiny bit of pink in. And it's probably a little bit bluer than that. You'll notice the door goes from light on the left hand side to dark on the right. So what I'm going to do is give it a wash of the lighter colour here. I've forgotten that step, to do that in a bit. Now I want to make a thicker version of that. Just drop that in. I want it a bit bluer than that actually. Drop that in towards there. Doesn't matter if you go over the edges, it's only a loose painting. A bit of a shadow goes over there. I want to darken that even still. I'm just getting a little bit of that orange colour, mixing it into the green. Like a kind of plummy colour. A bit greener than that. It's quite a nice dark olive now. So I'm just mixing these colours just to get a darker green, a darker jade. You see there's bits of brown and everything in there, a bit of everything. All three of those colours. Hopefully it's thick enough not to shift too much along the edge, because I really do like to get a lot of soft edges in these loose pieces. That should create a little bit of depth of tone. So now what I want to do is really start getting some flowers over here and start to darken these areas down here and get some definition down here as well. And some greens. Again, just yellow and blue. Because it's so mucky in here, we'll get some nice desaturated greens going on there. And I'm just going to pop some little bits of green along here, not much because there isn't much. Just using the tip of my brush, just dots and dashes. Now I'm going to make a quick red. So for the red, I'm going to use a little bit of yellow and a little bit of magenta. Get kind of quite a pillar box red. Now, I promise if I put it on now like this, it's going to not go anywhere. So really what I want to do is just wet this area so I can get some soft edges. I'm just going to wet it. Now I can go with some little dabs and they'll all blur nicely. We pop a few down here. Some smaller little dabs as well. I'm just using the tip of a size 12 sea white brush, synthetic. These are great brushes, they're cheap and cheerful. I'm going to get my rig up. I'm going to mix up a bit of dark orange or brown. That was just orange with a tiny bit of black. And you could just feed a little hint of a branch. Some lost and found lines just going through these flowers. A bit wet there. I really want to go in darker here, but it's too wet to do anything, so what I'm going to do is just do some bits and bobs down here. There's that step to finish. And I really want to darken these into a very rich orange. So for a nice rich orange you want yellow and you want magenta. And quite thick, not too watery. I'm also going to do that over here but add a bit of blue, so I've got two versions. A bit more yellow in there. So, blue. It's a bit browner because it's got the blue. Just activate a bit of magenta so it's ready to just drop in. I'm going to use a flat brush just going to drag it across here where I can see the bricks. I just want that a bit thicker. Not very impactful at the moment. Better. Chop and change your colours a little bit so they're a bit interesting, and try and leave a few little gaps for the mortar. Doesn't matter if it sweeps into the green. Go over that after. Slightly different colour for this one. Change them a little bit, make them slightly more watery as you start going up towards the top. And I'm going to change for a smaller brush as well, because the bricks are smaller up here. These are quite fun to do, nice and quick as well. And just give some more points of interest to the piece. Trick is not to make it too busy. I feel I really need to go a lot darker here to get some drama going with these plants. These three colours is normal. Just make myself a really nice dark colour. Add a little bit of black actually, it'll make it even darker. Just regulating the amount of paint on my brush. I'm not going to look too closely at the image, I'm just going to kind of like dots and dashes, squinting at the image so I can see the main shapes. I want to get rid of those pockets of light as well because they're distracting. It just darkens it all right down. Right, I think we might be ready to put a little bit of dark just around the door. Still a bit wet. It's kind of like a plum colour, I suppose, is what I'm using at the moment. There's more magenta and blue in this. This little green window here done. this ironmongery sorted, little dabs and dobs. A bit thick, so thin that out. I haven't come far enough down here with the greenery, so I'm just going to drop some leaves just down there. There's some dark ones. Just want to get a little bit more punch in these areas here. I'm mixing up some beautiful rich orange, using yellow and the pink, tiny bit of blue to darken it, and a bit more pink. That's it. That's a really nice colour. A bit more pink. Just blend it into here. Just a bit of a wash coming down here. I'm just going to put one last bit of green on this door, so I want it to be quite thick. I don't want to keep going over this door, otherwise it's going to lose its spontaneity. We've always got the option of getting a little bit of white acrylic, like this, and mixing a little bit of green with it. You can drop some lighter notes on the top if you really want to. See here how they're just brightening these areas up. And it's nice to do this, it just reminds you if something goes wrong, you can pretty much always fix it. It's not the end of the world. Look what a difference those little light notes make. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this and that you've learned some useful tips and tricks to bring life into your painting.